Welcome to another episode of Getting Stoned with your host, Mr. Stone Petoskey. I hope y'all doing all right out there. I hope you're feeling lovely. I hope you had a beautiful holiday weekend with the family, good food, good loving, all that stuff. It's so important to remember the things in this life to be grateful for. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I know you do. If you tapping into gratitude, if you one of them kind of folks like myself, every day I say a prayer of gratitude when I awake, and every evening I say a prayer of gratitude before I fall asleep and head off into dreamland. Gratitude is the ultimate attitude. Yes. At least as far as I'm concerned. You know, only by the grace of God go I, somebody once said. Yeah, however that is that you want to define God, yeah. Ain't no judgment around here. We all one in this business called life. So, I'm feeling grateful. As always, I appreciate anyone who stops on by to give this little show of mine a listen. I just keep on doing it. I don't know. It just can't seem to. Yeah, I took that break for a minute, but I just got sucked back into it. You know, kind of like Don Corleone. Yeah, but not really. Yeah, I'm out there selling love, and I'm shooting those love bullets. You know, those like. Come on now. Come on, people now. Join together. Smile on your brother. Time to love one another right now. Oh, yeah. Yeah, enough of all this fussing and fighting. That's what I say. It's like, damn, come on now. What are we doing here? Really, sit down and be quiet and ask yourself that question. It seems like a very, very simple question to ask. What am I doing here? What are we doing here? But I do think, and I do believe that if you were to dive in on that in a deep, intentional manner, what you might come to find, what you might discover, sure as shit's gonna surprise you. Yeah. All this surface nonsense that we tend to be all wrapped up in these days, you know, selfies. What the fuck is a selfie? Yeah, I know what a selfie is, but seriously, like, what is that? You know, I'm out at a fine restaurant last night having a delicious meal. You know, I mean, how incredibly blessed are we? There's other parts of this world where bombs are dropping. You know, the water, you can't even drink it. It's cold and people don't even have heat. And here I am sitting in some fancy ass restaurant having some delicious food. Incredible. I mean, again, gratitude, y'all. Anyways, so I look over and there's this couple sitting at a table. They ain't even looking at each other. They ain't even connecting. They both on their phones. I don't even know what he's doing. She's got the phone turned. She's taking selfies. She must have taken 10 selfies of herself. Different poses. I don't even know. I had to look away. This kind of stuff, again, I ain't bringing no judgment here, man. You know, it ain't how I roll. You know, it ain't. It's, you know, I think we all can speak our mind, but, you know, put the judgment over there and leave it be. It's hard to do. I fall into it still all the time. I just think it's crazy. You know, I'm of the generation that didn't have cell phones when I was growing up. I was a kid. There was none of that stuff. You run around outside, you play, you do this, you do that, what have you. You know, you were always present. You weren't playing with some little machine. I don't know, I mean, I see the value of it. I'm using it right now. I film, these and record these on these machines. It's all, hip and cool and all that business. But let's try to keep it in perspective. That's all I'm saying. Put the damn phone down when you're having dinner with your loved one. Jesus. And here's another thing on my mind while I'm going on rants. Free speech is there. Free speech and bodily sovereignty. If you don't have both of those things, and I mean without any conditions, unconditionality, unconditional free speech, unconditional bodily sovereignty. I'm talking about adults here now. You can't be doing with your body whatever you want if you're, I don't even want to talk about it, doing horrific things. That ain't what I'm saying here, okay? What I'm saying is that freedom of speech and bodily sovereignty need to be unconditional. Otherwise, you don't live in a free society. You're a slave. Someone else is telling you what you can and can't say, what you can and can't listen to, what you can and can't believe. There's a ton of information and people can share that if you didn't have free speech, you wouldn't even be able to tap into it. Now, whether you want to or whether you don't want to, that's your call. But to limit speech, to censor speech, I don't care what it is. No. That's totalitarianism, that's fascism, that's a bad road to go down, and we don't want no part of it. And the same holds true for bodily sovereignty. You want to put something in your body, you go ahead and you put something in your body. If I don't want to put something in my body, then I don't want to put it in my body. And that needs to be okay. That just bottom line, basic shit I'm talking right here as far as a free and sane society. And there's a lot of noise out in this world right now that's saying different than that. And I'm just going to say it loud and clear. If we lose our freedom of speech, we in a whole hell of a lot of trouble, man. Bodily sovereignty, that's already being taken from us. There's already laws in place that say you can't do X, Y, and Z if you don't do X, Y, and Z with your body. So we already done losing some of that. That slope is already slippery, okay? And I'm not in favor of any of it, and I need, obviously to say loud and clear that we need to stop with all of that and let each person walk their path. Don't live in fear. Trust in whatever you want to call it, the universe, God, whatever, Allah, the hoodoo guru, I don't, whatever name you want to give it, right? All right. Don't be messing with the freedom of speech and the bodily sovereignty stuff. And while I'm at it, why the fuck can't we just make sure every human being gets fed? Seriously. Why can't we even just start there? It ain't because there isn't enough goddamn money. They just making money up these days. You need more money? Just go turn on the printer press. And there you go. There you got more money. Just go throw those ones and zeros into the computer. Oh my Lord, we got another $7 trillion. So it ain't about there not being enough money. Let's just understand that. Good Lord. You can tell I'm a little fired up today. Well, so let's kind of flip the script here and rewind. I want to send that hug out to all y'all. You know how we roll. Come on now, get up on in there. Hug it out. See, if you can hug it out, I don't care. It might be your biggest enemy, someone you might have the biggest grudge against. But if you can find it inside yourselves to just set down whatever the story is in your mind about what happened, just put the story down. It's just a story. So put it down and look into the eyes of that person and wrap them up in a hug and hold on and mean it. And I can promise you that in not too long of a time, if you don't let go, if you commit and mean it, and you get through all that icky, uncomfortable stuff you might be feeling, there's going to come a moment where you're going to feel one with that person. You're going to feel their heartbeat. You're going to feel their breathing. You're going to feel their humanity that exists beyond and eternally, irrespective of whatever the story is that we tell. And more often than not, that story we're telling is bullshit. It's just a story. So hug it out now. Come on, feel it, feel it. Ooh, feel that goodness. It's there every moment of every day. That goodness is available. So tap into it, y'all. All right, let's keep on keeping on here. I'm gonna read another chapter from the 33 Myths of the System by Darren Allen. This chapter is number 6, myth number 6. It is the myth of competition. Capitalism, we are told, is a highly competitive system which is antagonistic to monopoly power. And yet, here we are in a world in which the 10 largest corporations make more money than most of the countries in the world, in which a few tech companies exclusively dominate our ability to communicate with each other, and in which 7 oil companies wield total control over the world's energy supplies. In the real world, money makes money, wealth attracts wealth, competition annihilates competitors, and ownership of land and private property is inherently monopolistic, as is state power. An aggressively competitive system based on the prerogatives of capital inevitably leads to a few powerful corporations becoming more powerful, owning more and more, and absorbing or merging with their, quote, competitors. And with the state, until one colossal state-assisted corporation has either a monopoly or, more commonly in late capitalist systems, a small number of megacorps working together to, quote, compete within mutually beneficial boundaries, forming an oligopoly or cartel. Within this small group of super wealthy oligarchs, there is limited competition and therefore limited pressure to cut costs and multiply surplus, exacerbated by a dead economy which compels everyone to overproduce. But the cartel as a whole, official term industry, works as one to fix prices, lobby for favorable regulation, dominate resources, curtail self-sufficiency, suppress labor power, corrupt individual and communal autonomy, and in general, defend the system which they are part of against the threat of independence. Individual companies then disguise their monolithic sameness behind the varied splendors of advertising. The myth of competition conveniently sidesteps the oligopolistic realities of class power and the total dominance of monopolistic capital, focusing on the occasional fall of a large corporation, the sadistic warfare of smaller businesses fighting their way up, and the arena where genuine competition does not exist at the very bottom. It is here at the base of the Golden Pyramid, in a world of artificially scarce resources, that ordinary people have to fight tooth and nail against each other in order to gain enough of the big pie. Competition, as used by the owners of capital, like the word capitalism itself, actually means competition for you, not for us. You must fight your way to the top of the academic league table in order to get your hands on one of a handful of actually useful degrees. You must scrabble over each other to get your foot up onto the next but bottom stage of the mountain of filth so that you may, perhaps, one day earn the right to give more orders than you receive. You must fight to win. You must have your, quote, free markets. You, not us, because we don't want them. We don't like them. And anyway, we were born winners. Another way to put this, now recognized by critics of the system, is that capitalism, the lizard-eat-lizard world of constant pitiless competition, is for the general public. The corporate world is legally, financially, and militarily protected by governments and, in times of duress, generously bailed out by them. The very definition of socialism. Socialism and welfare for us. Capitalism and warfare for you. The dice are not just loaded for people, but for ideas. Firstly, and most conspicuously, in that ideas are, in the highly developed system we live in, owned by capital. Just as physical property is inherently monopolistic, so intellectual property prevents anybody from competing upon its virtual territory. Ideas, words, theories, characters, songs, patents, and the like are locked up well beyond the reach of ordinary folk, who must compete without access to their own cultural heritage. There are also monopolistic pressures upon the spread of ideas. There is, we are led to believe, a competitive system of natural selection operating in universities and newspapers, just as there is between businesses, individuals, animals, plants, and genes. This is why ideas which support the system rise to the top, because they are right, you see, because they have defeated what is wrong in a fair fight. And not, say, because intellectual competition in a hierarchical institution always leads to ideas which justify the institution, its owners and managers, and the system it is a part of. Such ideas include the belief that reality is ultimately mind-knowable, that consciousness is reducible to thought, that psychological problems are physical illnesses, that gender is an illusion, or that history represents progress, that climate change is a left-wing conspiracy, that tradition in art is out of date, that quality is subjective, that we are the good guys, that you cannot escape cause and effect, that humans are essentially warlike and selfish, that life was once nasty, brutish, and short, that the universe and the origins of life were essentially accidents or cosmic rabbits pulled out of God's big hat, that anyone who rejects the system is actually morally corrupt or laughably naive, that traditional knowledge is rigid and whimsical, that the professional world is benevolent, efficient, and fair, that capitalism or feudalism or communism or whatever ideological branch of the system is in control is normal and natural, indeed is written into the fabric of reality, that sharing is inevitable tragedy, that endless alienated work is a prerequisite for dignity and prosperity, that technological progress is a prerequisite for human health and happiness, that love is a chemical, that genes determine behavior, that science or religion are the only ways to understand life, that happiness is a product which can be bought, that freedom is synonymous with obedience, that suffering is a primal fact of existence, that disorder and violence are inevitable consequences of the absence of law and order or power and authority, and that poverty is the fault of the poor. In short, all the myths of the system. Systemoidal rationocrats working in academia or media spend their lives looking for or inventing facts which support their myths and then beaming them into us 24/7 until they emerge naturally from the people who surround us, from the conversation of our friends and family and work colleagues, eventually coalescing into what we call, quote, the normal world. Any challenge to which is ipso facto weird, pretentious, ludicrous, depressing, or terrifyingly extreme. Those who discuss such ideas, the unbiased and independent journalists and academics who, quote, fairly rise to public platforms, always somehow manage to neglect to mention the monopolistic power of the institution they are a part of, or even more taboo, the totalizing dominance of the system itself. For monopoly does not just extend to the individual institutions of capitalism. These organizations are part of a far more extensive and disabling primary context. Individual organizations or cartels may or may not be monopolies. Individual billionaires might be able to get this or that law passed to favor his enterprise, and individual drones may or may not be able to choose this or that product or job. But the entire system represents a radical monopoly, an interlinking network of institutions and industries that have become the exclusive means of satisfying human needs, such as locomotion, shelter, knowledge, healing, and energy, which once occasioned a social response. Self is to ego what society or culture is to the system. When the former, self and society, pass tipping points of complexity, size, and power, they overwhelm the people and groups of people they are supposed to serve and become the latter, system and ego. Me and us radically monopolize experience at the expense of I and we, replacing individual and collective consciousness with mental emotional projections. It looks like a person, it looks like a people, but it is not. It is a personality pretending to be a person. It is a social order pretending to be a society. It is an economy pretending to be a culture. Nobody is forcing you, says the defender of the modern system. You can work where you like, read whatever newspaper you like, eat whatever food you like. He does not understand, or chooses not to understand, that although you may be able to choose between Ford and Kia, or United Health and Virgin Care, or Oxford and Harvard, or British Gas and E.ON, or London and Tokyo, you have to use cars to get around, hospitals to get treatment, higher education credentials to get a decent job, the electricity grid to power your house, and the supermarket to power your body. You have to rely on a totalitarian, professionalized system to meet your needs as a client, a patient, a student, a prisoner, and a consumer. You have to work at some kind of moronic, alienating task. You have no alternative because the omnipresent, ultra-monopolistic market system demands that humans become entirely dependent upon it. This totalizing monopoly is invisible, or at best not obvious, and so is never addressed anywhere. Although, as technology increasingly permits the system to usurp private life, it is exploited on an unimaginable scale by oligarchic tech companies, which are able to use their monopoly over communication channels to convert personal ownership, personal use, and all forms of human creation and activity into corporate control or possession by proxy. Thus, Uber, Alibaba, Airbnb, Facebook, and worldwide systems of contract farming increasingly dominate productive activity without having to own anything. Much as supermarkets dominate food production without owning farmland. Extending the radical power of the system into the final realms of human experience. To say that you have a choice in such a state of affairs is like saying a cyborg is free to plug itself in where it likes, or a sim is free to build a castle, or you are free in your dreams to fall in love. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is myth number 6, the myth of competition. So just a little teaser for next time. Myth number 7 is the myth of choice. That ought to be a real doozy. Yeah, I told you this book was gonna shake the trees, ruffle the feathers. Most people will run and hide. Only a very small handful will be able to step up to the plate on this kind of stuff and feel it, integrate it. But I'm doing it for those folks, the radicals, the revolutionaries, the ones who think for themselves and walk their own path, even though in this madcapped maniac world, that is extraordinarily difficult to do. Well, all right, here we go. We're going to read a poem because you know how we love to do that around here. Let's see here. How about we do a Gregory Corso poem. Let's do one of those. This one is a poet talking to himself in the mirror by Mr. Gregory Corso. Hi, I'm me. It has become glaringly absurd, this hunt for me. Believing that when I was hunted down, I'd find not only me, but a whole herd of past me's, future me's, the whole cartload, and all the years, and where have I gotten to in this point of time? This isn't the same mirror I gazed into years ago. It's the mirror that changes, not poor Gregory. Hey, in life, where I went, I went. Where I stopped, I stopped. When I spoke, I spoke. When I listened, I listened. When I ate. When I loved, I loved. But what about where I went, I did not go. Where I stopped, I moved on. When I spoke, I listened. When I listened, I spoke. When I fasted, I ate. And when I loved, I did not want to hate. Now I see people as police see them. I also see nuns the same way I see Hare Krishnas. Ain't got no agent. Can't see poets having agents. Yet Ginzi, Furrow have one. And make lots of money by them. And fame too. Maybe I should get an agent. Wow. No way, Gregory. Stay close to the poem. I'm gonna do another poem here. This one's gonna be by Mr. Allen Ginsberg. As I said, I read these. I don't pre-read them. I just read them when I open up to the book and check it out. So this is gonna be a fun one, I can tell. This one is Come On Pigs of Western Civilization, Eat More Grease by Mr. Allen Ginsberg. Eat more marbled sirloin, more pork and gravy. Lard up the dressing, fried chicken in boiling oil, carry it dribbling to gray clams snowed with salt, little lambs covered with mint roast in racks, surrounded by roast potatoes wet with butter sauce, buttered veal medallions and creamy saliva, buttered beef by glistening mountains of French fries, stroganoffs in white hot sour cream, chops soaked in olive oil, surrounded by olives, salty feta cheese, followed by Roquefort in blue, and Stilton, thirsty for wine, beer, Coca-Cola, Fanta, champagne, Pepsi, Retsina, Iraq, whiskey, vodka, watch out, heart attack, pop more angina pills. Under a plate of bratwurst, fried frankfurters, couple billion wimpsies, McDonald's burgers to the moon and burp. Salt on those fries, boil onions and breaded mushrooms, even zucchini in deep hot Crisco pans. Turkeys die only once. Look nice next to tall white glasses, sugar milk and ice cream vanilla balls. Strawberry for sweeter color milkshakes with hot dogs. Forget green beans, every day a few carrots, a mini bag spoonful of salty rice will do. Make the plate pretty. Throw in some vinegar pickles, briny sauerkraut. Check your cholesterol, swallow a pill, and order a sugar cream donut. Pack 2 under the size 44 belt. Pass out in the vomitorium, come back, cough up strands of sandwich, still chewing pastrami at Katz's Delicatessen. Back to Central Europe and gobble kielbasa in loads. Swallow salami in Munich with beer. Liverwurst on pumpernickel in Berlin, greasy cheese in a 3-star hotel near Satma, on white bread, thick buttered. Set an example for developing nations: salt, sugar, animal fat, coffee, Tabasco, schnapps. Drop dead faster. Make room for Chinese guest workers with alien soybean curds, green cabbage, and rice. Africans, Latins with rice and beans and calabash can stay thin and crowd in apartments for working class food freaks. Not like Western cuisine, rich in protein, cancer, heart attack, hypertension, sweat, bloated liver, and spleen megaly, diabetes, and stroke. Monuments to carnivorous civilizations presently murdering Belfast, Bosnia, Cyprus, Gnomo, Karabakh, Georgia, mailing love letter bombs in Vienna, or setting houses afire in East Germany. Have another coffee. Here's a cigar. And this is a plate of Black Forest cake. You deserve it. Allen Ginsberg, Gregory Corso. Thank you so much, my brothers, for putting your pen to paper, your mind to matter, and bringing us the indelible poems to take a big old bite out of. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Ah, yeah. Well. Let me just say this before I strum a little tune on my guitar. Don't ever doubt that you are lovable. Don't ever doubt that you are beautiful. Don't ever doubt I know sometimes you are going to doubt, because we all do. What I'm saying to you, through and through, is be true to the voice that glows inside of you. Your heart is a mission. Set your intention and have a vision. Peace and love, y'all. Peace and love, y'all. All right, let's do it here. We're gonna get on into a little song. This one's called House of the Rising Sun. Let's see if we can yeah. Let's see what we can do with this one here. New Orleans, they call the rising sun. There's been many a poor boy, God, I know I won. Mother was a tailor. She sewed my new blue jeans. My father was a gambling man down in the only thing a gambler needs is a suitcase and a trunk. And the only time that he's satisfied is when he's all drunk. Oh, mother, tell your children not to do what I have done. Spend your lives in sin and misery in the house of the rising sun. I got one foot on the platform, another foot on the train. Going back to New Orleans, to wear that ball and chain. There is a house in New Orleans, they call the rising sun. And it's been the ruin of many a poor boy. And God, I know I won. Yeah. I hope you all enjoyed that one. A little throwback. I think that song was written sometime in the 60s. Yeah. So anyways, thanks y'all for listening. You know how I just so appreciate it. I'm immensely grateful to be able to I don't know, just live in a world where we're in a time and a place, at least for myself, where I can do this, I can share these things, and I know that there isn't peace in every part of the world, and I know that much of the world doesn't have all the advantages that I do here. So I never lose sight of that. I'm again, to circle back around to the gratitude, I'm incredibly grateful for it. I know it comes in an immense cost, and I have my own struggles about how to sort all that out in my own mind, and it's one of the reasons that I've decided to share this 33 Myths of the System book is to kind of tap into some of that stuff, the iniquities, the inequalities, the enslavement of this very system is what perpetuates all of this. The fact that I can, have this amazing home I live in, and hot showers, and as I said last night, I'm out at a fine restaurant, and I go to concerts, and I take my van on road trips and camping, and I'm able to buy gifts for my loved ones, and I don't know, the dichotomy of this world is just it's insane, it's intense, it's a lot to kind of manage, and by manage I mean like emotionally, spiritually, intellectually, wrap your head around all of that. I mean, if you're someone who's sensitive and thinks about these things like I am, it's shit ain't easy, y'all. So I just, I want you to know you're not alone in any of that, and yeah. All right, brothers and sisters, thank you so much for being here. Love you from the bottom of my heart. Many blessings I send out to you. Until next time, this is Tom Petoskey saying peace out.